Penny Nectar. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Penny Nectar podcast. If you are new here, I want to say welcome and thank you for popping in to listen. And if you are a regular listening to the Penny Nectar podcast, then I just want to say thank you so much for clicking back on to listen to this episode. Today we are going to discuss kinks. My kinks, other people's kinks, all kinds of kinks, all things kinks. We're going to talk about that. So before we get into that, I would like to introduce my lovely co-host, Mr. P.
Hello, Penny Nectar. How are you?
Good. How are you today?
I'm fantastic. I'm very excited to hear about your kinks that you're into because I know that we were just talking right before we came on the air here, just discussing a few. I was like, well, what are we gonna kinks? Okay, then you started saying some that you're into. I was like, oh yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So I am very excited to get into this show because I know there's going to be a lot of things we're going to discuss that people are definitely interested in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I guess first, kind of, everyone knows that there's a million different kinks out there. There's kinks for everything. Non-sexual, sexual, make it sexual if it's non-sexual. I think one of my kinks that I did not know that I had until you and I were together and is like choking. I like absolutely love that feeling. One of the first times that you and I had hooked up, we were in the middle of having sex. I think it was like doggy style. And you had your hand around my throat and you're choking me. And it felt so fucking amazing, first off. But then I just remember like this really cold feeling coming over me and like this euphoric feeling. Like I don't know how else to explain it other than it being a very, very euphoric feeling. And I remember like, I guess when I came back to, you were like, oh, you passed out. And I'm like, no, I didn't. I was awake for all of that. And you're like, you're like, no, you weren't. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So I totally had like this crazy out of body experience. And it's so weird because like you've done it a few times, well, quite a few times, but like every time you do it, it literally like just brings over this really cold, like your body turns to ice. And then like it's just like a really amazing euphoric feeling.
It is, that was something else for sure. I will never, excuse me, I will never forget that. We had definitely fucked quite a few times up to that point, but you're exactly right. I remember that moment. It's funny because I had pulled out my phone and I was actually recording. So it's on, I think I may still have it on my phone. Unless I don't think I've got a new phone since. But, so yes, I was fucking you doggy. And I we're doing our thing or whatever. And I wrapped my hand around your throat around the front side of it. I can't remember. It must have been my left hand.
Because you pulled me up. Like you pulled me from doggy up to you for a second. Remember?
Yes, that's right. Because that's what I was thinking. Because you weren't on all fours when I was actually choking.
No,
because you had been, and I pulled you up by your throat, I guess, right? And then I started fucking choking you, and did a blood choke there on the side. And I saw, like I knew you like getting choked, and then like I saw it, but it happened real quick. It just all of a sudden just bam, you just went from enjoying it to like really enjoying it, and then just like you didn't just fall in,
right.
You just like we're just like got real weak, and then we were like fucking kind of were in my hands.
I feel like I was awake for all of it.
I don't know. You were like that whole thing lasted what 3 to 5 seconds maybe.
Yeah,
I don't
like
know.
5 seconds. Yeah,
but I know but then when you came back to, you were like, what? Like I was, and it was just, I could tell you were discombobulated, but I could also tell that you loved every second of it.
I think my exact words were, I think like as I started to come back to, I guess, like into my fucking body, I was like, oh my God. And then I was like putting together what happened, and you're like still fucking me in this moment. And this is on video. This is how I know this. You're still fucking me, and I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm like, oh my God, like what the fuck just, oh my God, what just happened? And you were like, you said something like, oh, that felt good, right? And I was just like, fuck yeah. I'm like, oh my God, that felt amazing. I'm all like drooling and shit, fucking crashed out.
Yeah, so that definitely checked the box for the choking kink for you. And we have, of course, explored that and just,
and there's a certain like technique to it, right? Like when you're choking me, you don't just like, fucking put your hand around my throat and suffocate me, you know what I mean?
Not at all. Just give a disclaimer, don't go choking people.
Right. For euphoric purposes, do not do that.
There's probably a WebMD article you can find on sexual choking or some shit. I don't know.
Right.
I have no clue that. But where I learned the where to choke somebody like that was, they trained us when I was in the Marine Corps.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just one of the basic functions of
make someone fucking,
yeah, just learning where to apply the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, you're great at it.
Yeah, most people think, like, oh, I need to squeeze the shit out of somebody's neck and up and, like to cut their air off. And no, it's just right on the side, just a little bit of pressure in the right spots and boom.
Slow that blood flow, yeah.
So I do love some choking too.
Some choking. Yeah. You know what else?
And that brings us to, or brings me to, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, go for it.
I was going to say the choking thing is it's a whole dominance factor for me. And that's I don't know if you can just put dominating into its own kink category, but for me, being dominant sexually, I just absolutely love it. And it's something that I have always, it's just something I've always explored sexually and has been a part of who I am sexually, I guess. As we've discussed on previous podcasts, not submissive. And I'm not, once again, I'm not saying that for the guys that are. Good on you. I could, ever teach their own, but I love to be very dominant sexually and sometimes degrading. And but I just think a dominant kink is, but I'm not sure.
That's okay. I don't mind being called a whore every now and then. I don't mind it.
Oh yeah, I remember. Oh yeah, I was going to tell you the story about the guy who told me that his wife got all pissed off the night before because they were fucking and he was calling her a slut, and then he called her a whore and she got all pissed off. It was like while they're having sex, she just stopped. She was like, "How dare you call me a whore?" He's like, "I was calling you a slut the whole time. You didn't care."
That's funny. You know what else? Like I kind of like when it comes to that whole dominant submissive thing.
What's that, baby?
We haven't done it in a while, but like knife play.
Ooh.
I think knife play is very, I feel like to be able to grab my attention, you have to like kind of hit me harder on a sensory type scale, if that makes any sense. So like, I like the knife play because it's very, very like in that moment. And like when your partner has a blade up to your skin, like that makes your fucking body stay really still, but your fucking heart race. And it makes this like weird tingling feeling go into your limbs. And like, I don't know, like knife play is super fun to experiment with as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That has been something we have not done in a while. We should pull out the knife.
Oh, yeah.
Always makes it more interesting, that's for sure. It, like you said, it amps up the
It's like an adrenaline.
The awareness, that's for
yeah.
sure. The awareness level.
Yes.
But that's something that, you know, I've really only explored with you. Just, I don't know if it's I think you have to be real comfortable with your partner before you can. That's not just like a regular, you know, consensual sexual act that, you know, most people engage in. That's a much more deeper connection there.
Right.
What other kinks, babe?
Let's see.
You know what kink I fucking love?
What?
Cream pies. We just get, I mean, like just delivering a good cream pie. And we have not done that since, well,
we're not trying to have another baby anytime soon. So, but I love a good cream pie too. There's like, okay, cons. There's not really any cons to it. Pros, you don't have to clean up any mess. You know what I mean? Like, just like put some panties back on, you're good. Move along.
Absolutely.
I like that. Now we have to I have to sit there in the cold while you grab a towel. And then you come back and we just like clean up the cum.
Turn on the hot water so it gets warm enough that they get the towel underneath the hot water. So the fucking indestructible cum can get, you know, partially wiped up. Why is cum so resistant to everything?
I don't know.
Cum is like fucking Dawn soap, like Dawn cleans up freaking oil from baby.
There's literally a Dawn. Yeah, a Dawn commercial literally just came on the TV. Right, that was really weird.
But this stuff cleans. Look, they're spraying it on the freaking spatula. They're spraying it on the sink. They're spraying it on the pan. They're doing all this. It cleans up everything. And then they show you at the end that it has a little baby duct that it cleans up the oil from the oil spills off of. Yeah. But nothing can clean up fucking cum.
No.
You know? That's
no
why,
soap.
like, you know, I do feel bad sometimes when a load goes overboard and it busts you in the head, like in your fucking hair.
So we
like a big glot, like last night.
I was about to say so I was about to give that example. So last night you pulled out, grabbed your dick, and like finished rubbing you out while you came. I didn't expect that first shot to be so fucking hard, so it went over my shoulder into my hair. And then I thought it was just a little bit last night. So I like didn't even bother getting up again. And this morning when I woke up, I always like brush my hair out in the morning because it gets tangled from sleeping. And I, like the whole right front of my hair was like dried halfway in the middle, kinked out to the right. And I was like, damn it, I should have got up and brushed my hair, got that cum out.
You should have known because Mr. P fucking
has the loads.
Is a damn sniper sometimes. That's but right. I was off course on that one.
No, that's all me. Yeah, that was me. My bad.
That's, you know, talk about kinks. That's something that that people have really been into with Panty Nectar and Mr. P Nectar is our cum shots and facials and stuff. And you know, I can shoot some pretty big loads and people love to see that shit.
That's fucking
And especially the slow motion. You know, I haven't done a good slow motion cum shot in a long time.
We haven't done one in a while. Maybe we will right after
I need to bust a good load. I think the last one I did, it was literally in slow motion, like from when I started coming to the end of it. I could go back. I wish I had it pulled up on my phone, but it was like a minute and 58 seconds of fucking
slow motion.
Yeah, of slow motion, just like ropes, you know, one after another.
That's funny. And it's always a lot.
It was.
I'm willing to share.
It was. Yeah, who wants a face?
Change subject real quick.
Who has a pretty face for me to come on? You know, I'm always open to that.
We'd love more participants, and if I don't have to get come on my face, I'm okay with that. So it's a win-win.
So, yeah. So what else has been going on in the Panty Nectar world? I know, you know, we just had Thanksgiving happen.
Yeah, I did a little Black Friday sale for OnlyFans. You know, so a lot of people took advantage of that to be able to, you know, get the Snapchat.
Yeah, so how does that work for your OnlyFans and your Snapchat? I know that there's some people that are confused about that
I've had, a couple people ask.
So if I want your Snapchat, what how do I get your Snapchat?
So to receive Snapchat, you have to subscribe to my OnlyFans. Go ahead and complete your subscription, and you'll receive my Snapchat with your welcome message. And if you were a previous subscriber, then you just need to shoot me a message saying, hey, you went ahead and redid it and you're a follower now, subscriber now, and then I shoot you the username. Every month on the 1st, the username changes though. So you got to be a member to be able to get that username.
I got you. So you have it. So when you have like someone subscribes for the first time because there's no message traffic back and forth, they get the welcome message
right away that has the Snapchat in it. Yeah.
Okay.
Snapchat username.
And then, but if someone has previously subscribed, then they would need to
was an existing subscriber and then is now resubscribing. They'll just have to shoot me a message.
And that's because they don't receive a welcome message.
Yeah, it's
or why
because
is that?
they already were a new member at one point. Technically not anymore. So
right.
Faulty.
That Snapchat goes off. You talk about kinks, and that's one of the things that OnlyFans, they your Snapchat. I follow you on Snapchat, and I see that shit. It goes always in the shower and peeing through your panties, and
I was about to say, Snapchat allows me to be able to post the content that I really can't post anywhere else, and that is, pee content, things like that. Honestly, the Snapchat is super easy. If you and I are in a moment, or if I'm in a moment, it makes it so easy to just get on real quick, post a Snapchat right then and there. I can interact with people. So, that's a little more convenient for everyone involved. So it's nice to have that.
Yeah. Plus you can just go back and forth there. With
exactly.
Any fans you want to shout out from your Reddit and OnlyFans family? I know you have a lot of people.
Dude, yeah. So first off, let me shout out, my Discord is always popping and is the best. So I'd love to shout out those people like Randy, Kev, Lydia, several. There's a whole group of people. If you have not checked out the Discord.
Lydia, the cocksucking queen.
Lydia, the cocksucking queen. Hopefully we'll get her on a podcast episode, do like an interview.
Talk about somebody who can take a fucking load.
Yeah, no shit. And like several cocks. It's great.
See, she has an advantage over you because she wears glasses.
See.
You don't wear glasses.
I need to buy some so that I can wear them specifically for your blowjobs.
Yeah, Lydia, not talking shit against that. I mean, you're a pro at what you do. I'm not taking away from your ability.
We've seen you take
babe.
a cock.
Yeah, just saying that those glasses, they give you a competitive advantage because you can see.
What would you do if I just walked out to give you a blowjob and was wearing some fucking swim goggles?
Give you a fucking snorkel next. I don't know. What else would I do with it?
I don't know.
No, yeah, man. There's
That'd throw you off, right?
Yeah, it would. But that would be hot to get some glasses. Some some hot
cute reading glasses,
nurse glasses or some shit.
Get a little schoolgirl outfit.
Yeah. Speaking of kinks and nurses, I kind of have. That's not really a kink though.
It's what?
I guess that's more of a fetish. Like nurses, you know how people.
You like nurses?
Well, the whole scrub things.
I didn't. This is new to me.
Well, it's just because you can see scrubs just. They're not sexy, but you can see the ass, and it's okay, is that chick wearing panties or not? And you can see it. I don't know, maybe
I think it also has to do with that whole professional but naughty type thing, it's a professional outfit, but you're what's underneath?
Yeah. Well, most nurses are I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that there's certain, let's just say, demographics that have these stereotypes, and nurses and people generally in the medical field are fucking freaks, man. Absolutely,
Unaware.
Yeah, like I'm telling you, like this is like if the dudes out there who have been with nurses are shaking their heads right now, like, oh yeah, or if a chick she's listening, she's like, oh yeah, I am closet because and I think because and I think it's one of the same reasons that military service members, you know, you hear people talk about Marines and shit being freaks, and I think it's because the the desensitization to a lot of things, you know, like it takes more to stimulate, if you will, because they're around traumatic experience or, you know, they're dealing with sick people or people and surgery and all this kind of shit. And I don't know, you know, I'm sure that there's probably psychologists or whoever who have studied these things on a deep level to figure that out. But I've just thought about it and it kind of makes sense to me.
Right.
As opposed to like the preacher's daughter, who all you have to do is pull your dick out and she fucking thinks that that's kinky, you know, like you gotta, you gotta do some freaky shit for a nurse.
Yeah.
like, let me stick a dildo on my ass or something.
Yeah.
Impress her. I don't know.
Well, if you are listening.
Not that I do that to impress chicks. Stick dildo on my asses, but. Sorry, go ahead, babe.
If you have a kink that you would like to share with me, please message me on OnlyFans because I would love to hear it.
Yes. One more thing. Remember that kink that someone paid you to do on OnlyFans?
Which one?
The donuts.
Oh, yeah. Someone wanted a custom of me eating powdered donuts naked. So I did it because who would not want to eat powdered donuts naked?
I remember when you told me that, I said, well, are you going to do it? You're like, oh, fuck yeah.
That's my favorite custom I've ever done.
We were coming back from the beach. And so we stopped at CVS or Walgreens or whatever. And you ran inside and grabbed the donuts, came home and ate them.
Yeah. I had a thing for powdered donuts then.
Well, Penny and Actor, thank you so much for having me on your podcast and, you know, sharing your fan base and everybody with me. It's just cool to be a part of this. So thank you very much. And I'm so glad to be here once again.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone, for dropping in to listen and spend some time with me. I really appreciate it. Until next time.
See ya.